Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the PSAI Talk Show Season 2, Episode 3. So, how are you all doing? Let me see your comments in the chat. Are you excited, energized, feeling good, awesome? Let me see some of your chats. Comments in the box, please. I've already seen Major Mohammad's comment is there. Ramaprasad Lal's comment is there. Hope everyone others are also there out there. So being part of a talk show in the Monday evening is a wonderful way to energize, recharge yourself for the week ahead. So welcome once again to PSAI Talk Show. So my name is Yabeejan. You can call me Yebi. And I would be the host for today's show. To speak a little about myself, I started my speaking career through Toastmasters and then through various forums, association, and then later club. So when I decided to take my speaking gigs to the next level, being a professional speaker, I faced a lot of hurdles. And that's how I realized that I should be mentored by professional speakers. I should be supported by professional speakers so that I could get more paid gigs. I could market myself. I could speak with impact. And that's how I came across PSAI, the Professional Speakers Association of India. For all those who are new to this talk show, the PSAI is an association formed to build a strong community to help you enhance your professional speaking career globally. The PSAI is a part of the Global Speakers Federation, an organization of 14 national speaking associations in 14 countries, which include USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Malaysia, South Africa, and more. We at PSAI believe that anyone, absolutely anyone who is an expert in their work area or has lived a life with many lessons must share their message to the world. This PSAI talk show is a firm step in that direction. It is a live event that is packed with values, insights from speakers, trainers, coaches, consultants. Now, I'm sure that all of you who are into speaking, training, coaching would like to help and get more clients, isn't it? If the answer is yes, just put in your answer, yes. Let me see some excitement, some energy going on. Hope everyone over here would like. Thank you, Chimu. Thank you, Chimu, for that. Yes, none of others want. And yes, do you want to? Yes, I see Purva over there. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So great to see all of you. But the question we should ask ourselves is that, do we know how to prospect a new client? Do we have a win-win attitude with prospects to close more sales? For most of us, the answer would be no. But today, we have with us a guest, a special person who has been in this space for decades and is spearheading various business. And yes, that's our great guest for today, Mr. Ramaprasad Sreenivasan, founder of Saamartya, director of CAD Center Training Service. He is a master graduate from BITS Pilani and certified NLP practitioner. Started his career with Associated Instruments Manufacture India Private Limited and consequently joined CAD Center in 1989. At CAD Center, he grew to become the executive director of the company in a span of 15 years. During his tenure, in CAT Center. He was instrumental in establishing CAT Center in Delhi and making CAT Center a national brand. He loved the equipment business and of CAT Center in 1995 with virtually no employee and nil turnover. He strengthened the company, the business, to rupees 50 crore in a span of 6 years and strengthened the company to 225 executives. Currently, he is the director of CAD Center Training Service, Asia Pacific, largest CAD network training network with presence in 30 countries. Ramaprasad served as COO in a new venture called iKicks 3D Printing, which specializes in 3D services. As the chief operating officer, he was able to successfully get across the concept of 3D printing service in architectural industry. He's currently leading their sales team and building a robust business. He started another venture called Saamartya in 2016 that enables people to develop their people skill and business skill. He's an active Rotarian, having led Rotary Club of Madras West as its 50th president. Saving the best for the last, Ram Prasad is also an active member and president of PSAI Chennai Chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome our guest for today's talk show, Mr. Ramaprasad Sreenivasan.
Hey, thank
Welcome.
you,
Welcome,
John.
Ram. Welcome, Ram. It's awesome to have you in our show of PSAI Talk Show Season 2. Thank you so much for being over here. So before we start, I request the audience over here to please hold to your questions. You can put in the chat. Our team will take care, and towards the end, we would take care of that questions. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. So Ram, how do you feel? Are you excited?
Absolutely, and good to see a lot of participants waiting for me to share my thoughts on prospecting. So, I thank this team of PSA to for giving me this opportunity to address or specifically share my thoughts on prospecting. Having been in sales for the last 3 decades, I think I've learned quite a bit about the various transformation of prospecting over a period of time, pre-internet era and post-internet era. So hopefully, the chat which we have today will be add a lot of value to the audience and participants who are there.
Thank you, Ram. Looking for that, and I'm really excited to be with you. And let me start with the first question. If you may, can you share something about your journey into business and into professional speaking, if you may?
Yeah. So you in your introduction, you really covered all the areas I went. So when I finished my schooling in Madurai, I wanted to become an engineer. Rather than I wanted to become an engineer, my parents wanted me to become an engineer. So I went to Pilani and started my career with the instrumentation company as a production executive. So my job was to measure all the parts and make sure that it's as per the drawings and updating it on day-to-day basis. I clearly knew that after a month, this is not the kind of job I want to do. So exactly 1 year later, I shifted to JK Tires, which gave me an opportunity of interfacing with the customers. Though Tire is a very well-established business, the scope of growth was not very high, and it was a stable technology and nothing to do with IT. So I was looking for some convergence between IT and engineering, and that's when I came across CAD Center in Bangalore. So I joined CAD Center in 1989, and my intention was to learn CAD and use it in my company. But what turned out is, after 1 month of my training, I chose to join them because it was so vibrant. Youngsters, a 21-year-old was teaching me, a 24-year-old was the head of the center. So it was somewhat like an extension of college, and it was quite exciting. So I said, why not get into the company? So I requested the center head whether there'll be any opportunity here, and he was happy to offer me, but he clearly told boss, your salary will be cut down by 50%. Are you okay with it? Because we are a new company, we are not like JK Tires. I was more keen on getting what I want, so I took a call, I took a plunge, and I joined CAT Center. So in CAT Center, people thought I may become a technical trainer because being an engineer, it's a lot easier. So people were expecting me to come in front of the board and train people on CAD, whereas my idea was totally different. I wanted to spread the word, sell CAD training. That's how my selling journey started. And CAD was relatively new in the 90s. People had not embraced CAD. They were still using the drafting boards. And I was lucky to see through the transformation from drafting boards to CAD over the next 5 years. So after a struggle for the first 3 months as a salesperson, I grew within the company, established CAT Center Delhi, and a lot of corporate orders. But for some reason, in 1995, the company said, Ram, you no longer required in training. I said, why? What went wrong? No, we are doing a re-engineering. And that's a time where companies were re-engineering, restructuring the company. So I was thoroughly disappointed because I thought, okay, I'm going to grow the training business into a big thing. And they said, listen, you are required for a better opportunity, and that is the equipment division. So from next year onwards, you're going to lead a equipment division. And mind you, from a 2,000, 3,000 product, I was moved to a 20 lakh, 30 lakh products.
Wow.
So
Wow.
a shift in mindset. I was not really sure whether I'll be able to do this, pull off this, but thankfully I learned the tricks of the trade, and over the next 5 years, with a lot of patience and persistence, grew the business. And from 2000 to 2010, we developed a customer base of close to 2,000.
Wow.
The beauty is, when we were a training company, people were treating me like, okay, hey, listen, you are from a training company. How can you sell equipment? Come on. It doesn't gel well. I see you as a training company. Can you really handle hardware and software? That was the beginning, right? But 2000 onwards, all our customers, when you go and ask, they ask me, hey, do you train in CAD as well? Yeah. So that's the kind of shift we had. And naturally, CAD Center started focusing more on the education institutions, and we were on the corporate side. So it worked, it synergized very well. And that's how I developed my business. I learned all those things which I'm sharing with people in those 25 years of selling. Now, coming to PSAI, 2019 was the first conference in Chennai. Mr. Babu Krishnamurthy, who is also a member of Chennai Chapter,
Yeah.
who is currently in Mount Everest. So
Oh.
he introduced me to um, the forum. He said, there is one PSAI, Professional Speakers Association of India. Why didn't you attend the conference? Probably they needed a lot of participants for the conference. So he sold me the conference. So I went and attended, and I was totally energized by the total group, and it was very fascinating. Ever since then, I've been regularly attending not only the meetings, but the conference, Delhi conference I attended. Unfortunately, Hyderabad became a virtual event because of the COVID. So, and same was the case last year. And this year, I'm looking forward to the next conference in 2023 in January, which will be a physical event. And the journey has been fantastic so far. A lot of learning, a lot of networking, a lot of friends is what I got from PSA. So that's about it.
Thank you so much, Ram. It's really interesting that you changed from, there's a transition from a technical person to a sales guy. And I thank Mr. Babu for introducing a wonderful person to this community, PSAI. And even I'm looking forward for the PSS, the Speaker Summit, which is going to happen in January. So, Ram, we have a crowd over here which includes trainers, coaches, speakers, and we all know that although we are very good in our respective segment, we have to know how to sell ourselves. We have to know how to prospect a client. So my next question would be, why prospecting is so important in this selling process?
Well, you're asking me like, if you want food to eat, do you need a farm?
Oh,
Right? So farm is what your target audience are, and seeds are your prospects, and the resulting fruits or vegetables are your basically the results of clients who are coming to you. So prospecting is one of the most important activity within the sales. When you talk about prospecting, people, most of the people, fraternity think that, okay, I have a great product, I have a great service, let people come and buy from me. Why should I go and sell them? You know, that's a common myth. But let me assure you, there are so many people out there who could be a choice for your clients.
yeah.
So how do you actually bring them into your fold? So prospecting is one of the first activity which you actually do. And it's very, very important. It helps you build a pipeline. But
Mhm.
again, before prospecting, one clear thing to all of you, you should know clearly what you want to achieve in terms
Okay.
of speaking business. So, for example, if you say, listen, I should at least get 10 speaking gigs every month, or 120 speaking gigs at an average of 25,000 or 50,000, you decide whatever you want. But that should be clearly spelled out. You should be committing yourselves to that number, which we call as a target. So, in
Yeah.
absence of that plan or target, you don't need prospecting.
Okay.
Okay. So, I know all of you must have heard the story of Alice in Wonderland, where Alice will be on a fork. Okay. And she'll ask the cat, hey, where does this path lead to? Then the cat asks, hey, tell me, where do you want to go? She says, I don't know. Then the cat says, it doesn't matter in which path you go. So basically, the point here is, unless you know where do you want to go and what you want to achieve in a year's period, prospecting is meaningless. So just to give you an example, if you decide, okay, hey, listen, I'm going to have at least 25 lakhs or 30 lakhs, or maybe depending on from individual to individual, it differs. So you decide your numbers, and these numbers are broken into monthly numbers, and again,
Okay.
these are broken into weekly numbers, and finally, daily numbers. Now, to achieve those daily numbers, you are expected to reach out to people, because numbers are not going to pour in. It's not like rain. You have to reach out to people. Now, reaching out to people to build your pipeline to ultimately reach your sales goal is what prospecting is all about. I
Awesome.
hope I made it clear why you need
Surely,
prospecting.
surely, absolutely in detail. And Ram, just a follow-up question with that. Is there any method which we could follow for professional speakers for prospecting new clients?
Definitely, see, professional speakers, who are our clients? Who do you want your clients to be?
Okay.
For example, are you aiming at the education institutions? Are you aiming at corporates? Are you aiming at SMEs? So you need to decide, because it's a whole big world out there. So you can't address everyone, right? You need to narrow your target audience to a particular segment. Who do you want
Yes.
to, especially for professional speaking? Because if you thin yourselves or spread yourselves thin, you won't be effective.
Mhm.
So you need to choose which segment you want to first get into. So if it
Okay.
could be corporates, it could be SMEs or people who are just growing, or it could be educational institutions where they are regularly inviting people to speak, or it could be specific event oriented things, which is either in corporate or in public. Okay, so these are all the target audience for you. Okay, once you have this target audience, now, what are all the methods to reach out to them? In fact, I don't know how many of us attended last week the Sandeep Nath's a session on this.
Sure.
One of the
Yeah.
beautiful prospect generating tool is LinkedIn Today. Earlier, before internet day, we have to go physically find the industrial directory. You had yellow pages, you had the industrial directory, so you need to shortlist all these names and then go and approach them, write to them. There is no email. You send a letter, physical letter. Letter has to reach, and or you give a call to that person, see
Yes.
whether they want your services. That kind of a process was that till 2000. But
True.
after internet came into picture, after Google and LinkedIn has established as a powerful tool, today you could quickly identify your prospects. Just to give you an example, after last week's session, I went to LinkedIn and you see there's a search engine bar there on top of the LinkedIn. So
Yes.
if you really want to address the HR fraternity,
Hmm.
or learning and development, because if you think learning and development is the best chance for you to be called as a trainer or a speaker, so you say learning and development manager,
Okay.
and then once you do that, you have a people button underneath, and if you click that people button, you will get to know who you can contact. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
So I wanted to test out whether this really works or it's this thing, because being a salesperson, who will be my target audience? Who do you think will be my target audience?
Sales. The business persons.
Head
Business.
business
Business.
development, head of business or head of sales, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just typed in head of sales,
Hmm.
and they were just either the first contact or second contact, or they are
Okay.
known to one of my common contacts.
Okay.
And then I click the people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and specifically Chennai area only. I wanted to focus only on Chennai. Guess
Okay.
the number that came.
Maybe above 5,000.
Almost there. So
Yeah.
it's 4,000. Okay, that's the
Okay.
kind
Okay.
of
Wow.
people you have to
Okay.
reach out to. Okay, now
Awesome.
finding out the people is only the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how
Yeah.
do we get to influence them?
Mm.
Okay, so there are three methods. One, you can write an email
Okay.
introducing, and when you introduce your services, please avoid saying I do this, I do this, I do this. Nobody is interested.
Okay.
Your communication should be such is what difference can you bring about in the other person.
Mm.
So instead of saying, hey, I'm a trainer, coach, mentor, I've been doing it for so many years, you say, hey, would you want to improve your productivity of your people by
Okay.
50%? Would you want to improve your sales
Mm.
by 50%? Now give a definite number which will attract them.
Number.
The moment you say that, they will be interested and they will tend to respond to your communication. And
Okay.
let me also assure you, out of every 100 mails you send, probably you'll get less than 5% response, less than 5%.
Okay.
So if you have to really get to where you want to go, there's a lot of work to be done in prospecting. Okay, it's not going to come your way just like that. Okay, so the ratio is 1:20 approximately. So for every 100
20.
emails you send, probably you'll get 5 responses at best, right? At best, you may even
Mm.
get 0 responses. So you have to keep on doing it till you get your desired results. And once you get a response, that's only the first step. The second is you have to go have a meeting with them, because the best influence can be when you are in person. According
Okay.
to psychology, words has only 7% influence on a person, which
Yeah.
means they don't respond to words as much as calls. So it's better to call them and then fix up an appointment. When you call, don't try to sell it over the call. You can't do that. Your
Yeah.
objective when you call is just to
Meet them.
connect with them and fix a meeting with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Your best chance is when you're in front of them. And
Okay.
you may ask, okay, hey, Ramaprasad, does it really work this way? Because you always demonstrate whatever you tried out, whether it really works or not. So I recall this one assignment which I got in the month of March, which was basically a reference. Again, referral is a very powerful thing. I'll come to it later.
Yeah.
So when I called the client, He said, I need training. I'm looking for training my people in the month of April. I'm talking about 2020. Okay. I said, and he called me in the first week of February. So I said, okay, Mr. Upen, can we meet so that I can understand your exact needs? Can we meet within this week sometime, maybe tomorrow or day after? Thankfully, he was available, so he agreed to meet me 2 days later. So we met in a common place. And during the meeting, there are a lot of commonalities established. We were both born in the same year, and there was a good rapport built over a period of time. Okay, what was the outcome based on that? He was very convinced that he needs to do this training earlier than he had planned.
Oh,
So he said,
okay.
I want to train the managers by the end of this month itself. Are you ready? Can you do it for me? So
Super.
February end, 5 days, 24th to 29th of February, I had my training for the senior managers. And March 1, 2, 3, I had training for the executives. And you know what happened on March 25th. So originally this was planned in the month of April, which got advanced because of the personal meeting. So I'd recommend when you prospect, your best chances when you go and meet the person. So try to maximize your meeting when you prospect. That's my message.
Awesome. Awesome. Lot of Gyan over there. Thank you so much, Ram, for that. A follow-up question. I saw from your profile that you are also a NLP practitioner. Does that help in your meeting while meeting in person? Does that help your NLP background?
Absolutely, NLP is part of the whole game. Okay, NLP has the basic reason for using NLP is one of the key when you prospect. One of
Okay.
the key things you want to establish with your prospective client is rapport.
Rapport. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you establish rapport? So there are several techniques to do that, and these are all NLP techniques. Okay, just to give you one example, normally it's people like people who are like them.
True.
Okay, so just like you go in a foreign land and you see somebody speaking in Tamil or Malayalam, immediately you get
Mhm.
attracted to it. So
Yes.
people who are like you are likely to get attracted. So that's
Attract.
rapport. Then people like people when you compliment them.
Hmm.
Hey, Yabeejan, you're looking great in your black shirt. Okay,
Okay.
then you feel good about the whole thing, and you are more willing to listen to me. Number three, if they find that you could be useful to them, or you can be mutually beneficial to each other, there is a rapport build. All these three things which comes out is out of NLP only. Okay, so the NLP has this basic premises. Okay, and we all are unique, which means we represent the internal world in a different way. Like
Yes.
you may have heard about visual, auditory, and kinesthetics. These are
Kinesthetic. Yeah.
the primary classification, and then you realize the world through your five senses.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does it really help build a rapport? Because if I know my prospect is more of a visual person, I
Mhm.
use words which is of more visual in nature. Okay, hey,
Yeah.
bright. Even when sending a proposal, I'll ask, how does the proposal look?
Hmm.
Right? The word look. But if you're an auditory person, the same sentence, how does the proposal sound
So
to you?
yeah.
I change the word. Okay. And if it's a kinesthetics, which is feel person, what do you feel about the proposal? Now you may think, hey, it's just words. Will it really have an influence? Of course it does. That's what NLP teaches you. There are other techniques of NLP which will allow you to build a rapport quickly, like matching and mirroring the posture,
Mirroring. Yeah.
matching and mirroring the voice, tone, and
Hmm.
tempo. Like each of us have our own speed of talking and the tone of
Yes.
talking. Now, if you're
Yes.
able to, you know, match this, you will, at subconscious level, you build a rapport. You won't even know. And the moment you build rapport, you are in a better position to understand your client. That's why you need to do that, not for any other purpose. So if you understand your client and he feels understood, your sale is almost 50% done.
Yeah.
Today, one of the reasons why people fail in sales is they are too much in a hurry to talk about themselves, their products, and other things, and very little time to understand what exactly the client wants. Today, people are not looking at how much you know.
Mhm.
They are only wanting to know how much you care and how much you want
Yeah,
to know. So, if you
absolutely.
demonstrate that you actually care about the development of the person you're talking to, and you're really going to willingly going to help him progress in his life, I think that's good enough for him to take you further.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Ram, we have spoken about prospecting and how NLP helps. Now, let me get into straight into the sales, the final segment, the closing aspect. So, do you face challenges while closing sales? And if yes, how do you overcome them?
Okay, one of the biggest challenge. Can you guess what it is? And it's also the question for audience. What is your
Okay, yeah.
number one challenge in closing a sale?
Audience, you can share
You can
in
quickly type if you
type
think
in, type in. We have an expert in this domain and he would be able to help you. So you can, what
the
is the
number
challenge
one
you face?
challenge you face
Yeah.
while closing a sale. When I tell it, you'll feel oh
Waiting for the comment.
is
So let me
testing.
go with this. The pricing aspect. Most of the time, the pricing aspect comes as a challenge, I think.
Okay, I'll take it in two ways for you. One is one of the common reason for failure is you don't ask.
Hmm.
As simple as that. One of
Okay.
the most powerful technique is I don't ask.
Hmm.
At the end of the conversation, I don't ask for the contract.
Okay.
Simple. The moment you start asking why you don't ask, because you're not sure. You have a fear of rejection,
Hmm.
and you don't want to be rejected. So
Okay.
to avoid that rejection, you fail to ask. And when you fail to ask, you fail to get.
True.
So one of the most powerful closing techniques is ask for the
Mhm.
order at the end of the conversation. Okay,
Okay.
do I directly ask? Will they not get offended? That's nothing. You're going to help them. Okay, so in my earlier case, when I finished the conversation, he said, I want to do it in February. When he mentioned that, I want to do it in February itself, I said, can we start the training on 24th?
Oh.
Simple. Instead of saying, okay, I'll wait for your contract, no. Can we start the training on 24th? Will it suit your person? Yeah, 24th, yes, 2 weeks from now, yes, it can be done. So basically, you're trying to assume a closure and ask for it. I think that is what is very very important. And definitely, let me. I think this is also fear of rejection comes out from the fact that am I good enough?
Yeah. We
Let
have
me
a comment in the box by
Yeah, yeah. Let
Brigadier
me
Bhushan.
let me share with you a story on am I good enough. In fact, I had the same situation when I started selling CAD training.
Hmm.
I had only two types of clients: clients
Okay.
who were using CAD already
Hmm.
and who didn't want the training. Client number two who were not using CAD, so they didn't want the training. So you start off with two negatives,
Okay.
right? But how do you overcome this challenge or situation? So, what does client expect from you as a speaker
To
to
deliver
deliver
value. Yeah.
what he is expecting or
Yes.
deliver to solve his problem?
True.
Okay. Do I have the content and confidence to deliver it?
Hmm.
If the answer is yes, you don't need to worry about anything else. He's
Yeah.
not going to worry whether you know how the world economy is going to move in the next 10 years. He's not worried.
Yeah. That's true.
He only wants to know whether you are good at your subject.
Okay.
So, which means you better be thorough in your domain.
Hmm.
So, your knowledge in your domain is mandatory, and we already know that if you're a niche speaker in a particular subject, you are expected to know everything on the subject. You are an authority. And most of the fellow speakers have written books on that. So they don't need to worry about whether they are an authority or not, right? And the
Yeah.
moment when you go and meet that person, always feel that you are equal to them. Doesn't matter how old they are or how young they are or how knowledgeable they are.
Uh,
Like, for example, if I'm going to meet an IIT professor who is very good in rocket science
yeah.
and I'm going to sell on training, I don't need to worry because I'm not going to train him on rocket science. Okay. I'm going to only train on what he doesn't know, right? Most of the people have this feeling that, okay, what if I go and meet him, will he look down upon me? No, he's not going to. In fact, when I was 24 years old, I had an opportunity to negotiate with a board of directors of public sector company who are all double my age, more than double my age. So I asked my father, hey, will they take me seriously? Because I'm 24 and my colleague is 22, and we are going to negotiate a 60 lakh order. Will they take me seriously? He told me only one thing: as long as you're clear in your communication and you're
Mm.
confident in what you're offering, you
Mm.
don't need to worry about anything.
Wow, awesome. Great point over there.
Yeah. And always feel equal to the other person. Never ever feel unequal. The moment you feel unequal, naturally your power to ask for things will reduce. Doesn't matter. You are equal to the other person. Okay. Now you talked about price, right?
Mm. Mm.
Let me ask you, Yabeejan. Suddenly,
Yes.
of course, you you find that you have a block in your artery.
Mm.
Sorry. Okay. Would you hesitate to go for bypass or angio and negotiate with the hospital?
Not at all. Not at all. I'll go for it.
Go for it because life is very, very important, right?
True. True. Yeah.
So typically, people tend to relate the price to their services. It's not that. You
Mm.
always relate the price to the value you're going to offer. So, which means, like recently, when I got a contract for 1.6 lakhs from one of the company, which I'm going to do on October 2 and 3,
Mm.
the MD of the company says, Ramaprasad, can you give me some discount?
Ah.
I said, Mr. Sanjay, what would it mean if each of your person, you're talking about 50 people attending the training, each of them increase the sales by 10%
Mm.
and increase margins by 5%? Will it help you?
Good question.
And then he further didn't ask for anything.
Okay.
And he understood that if I give discount to you, how can I train them not to give discounts?
Well,
As simple as that. See, the real thing is you are not charging for your services. You are
mm.
charging for the outcome of the service. So
Yeah.
please have a measure of it. So if you're going to influence 100 people who are going to improve their productivity by 10%, look at the value you're generating for that company. Your charge will be a fraction of that, I can bet. So you don't need to worry about discounts at all if you know how much you're saving for the company.
Thank you, Ram. I'll just stop with this question, and then I would take the question from the audience. One last question, especially for the speakers, trainers, coaches. So we all know that this skill is very important, and some of them are not able to master it, master the skill. So, is there a message of, with your experience that how to master the skill of sales or prospecting in that?
Okay, in the best of my knowledge, first thing you need to have is the hunger.
Hmm.
Hunger for business, hunger for growth. If you
Agree.
don't have that hunger, it doesn't matter. That's why I started off with saying if you need to do prospecting, you need to know exactly. So if you say, listen, I'm going to become a speaker who will be paid 1 lakh for my speech in the next 5 years, and I'm going to earn something like 50 lakhs or a crore by 2025 is some sort of a goal you need to have, which I call as a hunger or ambition, right? Now, that hunger and ambition is what drives the entire process of sales. Otherwise, you won't do it. But why should you do it? We call it contentment, right?
Yes.
You can live peacefully without achieving much. That's okay. So, what drives sales is your ambition and hunger. That's mandatory for anybody to master sales.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the year, they should say, yeah, I followed this process and I'm where I am. Now I will increase the bar. Next year, I'll double the business. So, for doubling the business, you need to increase the resources, increase the time, everything goes up. Right?
Yes.
So, if one needs to master sales, the primary ingredient is ambition and hunger.
Hunger.
If it is missing, because you need to ask yourself, nobody can ask, hey, are you hungry for business? Nobody's going to ask you. You need to ask yourself, am I hungry for business? Am I really want to become a world-class speaker? Am I really doing that? That question is very important to answer before even you embark on sales, because it will reflect in rest of the things.
Absolutely.
Right? Sales is a very beautiful process, right? From prospecting. So you have out of prospect. So you identify your target audience, you start prospecting, and then you narrow down into leads, and then you investigate and find the needs, and you meet those needs with your services and close the deal and get. This is a cycle, and this cycle keep going on and on. The volume or the magnitude of the cycle is directly proportional to the ambition. Like just now, you must have seen Adani wanted to, he's pledged two cement companies to become world #1 richest person, right? That's a pinnacle of material achievement. I would put it that way. Yeah. So it applies to all of us.
Thank you. Audience, at this moment, I would request that if you have any question, please put it in the comment. We would love to take them up. Okay. So I'll just ask one more question. Ram, is there a specific closing technique which you use usually? A closing technique?
Simple closing this technique is ask for it. So at the end of
Okay.
it, hey, would you want to do this? Would you want to have? Okay. So if they hesitate, it need not be always true that they say yes. They say, I will come back to you. One of the common responses will, I'll come back to you. So please understand that when they say, I will come back to you, they are not convinced with you.
Oh.
So don't leave at that. You say, okay, I understand that you have certain concerns which is not allowing you to decide. May I know what are your concerns?
Okay.
You ask that question. Then they may come up with a reason. Listen, I have to check with my another person to decide on this. Okay. Would you want to do it right away? Yeah. So basically, you are helping them not procrastinate the decision. That's a technique I use always, both for appointments as well as order.
Keep the lead hot.
Yeah. And typically, let me tell you, your best chances when you have your first meeting and when he is decided and you know everything, don't allow him to meet somebody else. Yeah. I always learned this hard lesson during the early days. So when cat training, people used to come walk, I counsel everything, and they'll say, okay, I'll come and pay the fee tomorrow. And they'll never come tomorrow. So I learned that lesson. I said, once they come in, they are not going out without paying the fee. Simple. Right? And one of the best way of prospecting is networking, what we are already doing. So networking has the best effect on the client. So if you're referred by somebody, his questions will be very minimal, because most of the clients are looking to minimize the risk when they buy. They are not greatly worried about how much they pay. They are greatly worried about how effective you are going to be. Will he be praised for engaging you, or will he be said, hey, what kind of a speaker you brought? That's the risk he wants. So when you go with the referral, you're likely to succeed more compared to when you go without a referral. So that's why referral testimonials and all are very powerful tools
Very
to use during the sales process when you present your product.
super, super. We have one question from Brigadier Sushil. His question is, how do you handle objection, particularly for creating urgency? So
Right.
that's it.
So I thought I answered it just now. Um, One of the objections could be, I'm not convinced with whatever you claim. I'm not really sure about what you're going to deliver. That's the reason I'm not able to decide. That's objection one. Or I had engaged you some time ago and I was not fully convinced, or I didn't get a great feedback. This could be another thing. So first of all, when the objection comes, always acknowledge. Don't defend. Like for example, hey, listen, 2 years ago I engaged a similar person and it didn't work out, so I'm not too sure.
Mhm.
So you say, hey, I'm really sorry that you had to go through that process, but things have changed. That's 2 years ago. A lot of techniques have improved, a lot of technology has come in, so today your risk is minimized.
True.
Right? And people, when they postpone, simply the reason for postponement is, I'm not ready to part away with my money now
Money.
because I don't see a value in you.
Yeah.
So your typical question will be, looks like you have certain concerns which are preventing you from deciding today. May I know what those concerns are? Now, this has worked for me very well most of the times. Don't come out saying, okay, I'll come back to you. Always avoid somebody telling you, I'll come back to you. Why didn't you send me the brochure? Or why didn't you send your details? So you don't send the details without knowing what they really want. So you say, listen, I will definitely send you the details. Before sending it, can I know what exactly are you looking for? So always, whenever you know that you are giving or demonstrating your intent to know about the other person, you're getting closer to the sale.
So ask question to bring clarity to what you.
Absolutely. One of the questioning technique, which is art of investigation, I taught, is
Mhm.
one of the most important technique. Telling
Okay.
doesn't work. Asking works. Because in asking, you shift the decision to the other person.
Yeah.
You don't decide for him. When telling, you are deciding for him. Sir, this will be good for you.
Mm.
Is telling. Do you think it will be good for you? Is asking.
So I
What?
have a question from the audience right now. A follow-up, I would say that if a person couldn't genuinely pay now, so what would be the answer?
Respect it and move out.
Okay.
So, see, you should understand that not everyone can be your client.
Mhm.
Not everyone can be your client. So, but please validate the genuinity before you decide that it's genuine. I think that you need to use, validate the genuinity,
Mhm.
because some people may pretend
Yeah.
genuinity.
Trying to escape.
So validate with few cross questions so that you're clear that it is genuine. If it is genuine, fine. Yeah. So whenever there is a element of doubt from your side that the prospect is not giving you enough cues to hire you or engage you, ask. Don't be quiet.
So thank you, Ram, for sharing your experience and wisdom, knowledge with us about sales. Now we have come to the end of the session, and that's a rapid fire question. Are you ready, Ram?
Okay, are you going to fire me?
No, not.
Okay.
Okay, the first question would be, what are the two topics you usually speak on?
See, for me, how to improve your sales in 90 days, or
Okay.
how to increase your conversion rates by 30%.
Oh,
So typically, till about a month or 45 days ago, I was not narrowing down this kind of a thing, but you need to be very specific. You know, if I don't comment, okay, how to improve, techniques to improve your conversion by 30%, or techniques to double your sales in 2 years. That's a topic I talk on.
Awesome. So, what is the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up? First thing.
I brush my teeth.
Ah,
I walk
that's
every day.
interesting. Huh?
I
Okay.
walk every day for half an hour. That's it. That's the only exercise I do in the morning. But I do walk every day. Walking is the minimum that you can give to your body, because for all your joints to be happy, and especially when you are nearing your 60s, you better give more attention to your body. And we did learn in the recent PSAI boot camp that it's very important to respect your body and make sure that you give proper attention and exercise for that. It's very important.
So, 3 words that define who you are. 3 words.
uh, Humble, generous, vivacious.
Wow. A book you're currently reading.
I am going to do a review on success principles by Jack Canfield next
Hmm.
month. In
Okay.
one of the Madras Management Association have a program to review a book of certain significance every month. So next month I'm doing a review on success principles. That's what I'm reading. In fact, I was to do a review on atomic habits, which Bobo did last month. So
Okay.
he bet me on that.
Okay. So, a speaker or speakers you follow in your professional speaking.
See, many times I follow our own fellow speakers like Praveen.
Hmm.
Almost everyone who speaks, I try to learn from them. It's a
Okay.
very nice.
Okay.
He need not be an international speaker or Jack Canfield, Simon Sinek, and all. I watch these videos very often. See how they deliver their message. One
Message.
is the content, the other is the delivery. If you look at
Hmm.
Simon Sinek, like the way he delivers the
Yes,
message,
yes,
so
absolutely.
clear, so clear.
From the heart.
Yeah, and he's very casual about the whole thing, and he's not absolutely not fluttered or bothered about the environment, and he hooks the audience from his clarity. So those are all the things I try to imbibe from these speakers and see how I can sort of emulate. NLP, one more technique is modeling. You model
Ah, yes.
somebody, become somebody. Yeah, but in your own style.
Yes. True, true. So, one final question. What's the one thing you learned that completely changed your life? One thing that you learned.
You are 100% responsible for everything. Nobody else is going to make you successful.
Super. Super.
In fact, this realization came about when I was in the college.
Hmm.
Till then, I was a protected child, and I was expecting somebody to take decisions for me. And then, when I started taking decisions, I more and more I realized that you are the only person who is responsible for your progress and success. And so I stopped complaining. I stopped giving excuses. I apologize without any justification. I take feedbacks without any justification. These are all the habits I developed once I realized that I'm 100% responsible. So and you have this unique power of choice.
Yes.
You can make your choices. You have that power. You need to use that power. Don't leave it to somebody else.
True.
That's a lesson I learned, which I'm regularly practicing and which is helping me as well.
Fabulous, fabulous, Ram. It's been an honor and privilege to be with you. It's a great chat having you over here. We have learned. I understand. I hope the audience also got a lot of lesson. If you would like to share your gratitude, please share in the comment for Ram. What a wonderful session we had. We had a chat. It's great speaking with you and hearing from you, Ram. And I had an awesome time and
Awesome.
hope the audience also had an awesome time. And with this, I conclude the session. Thank you so much, Ram, and I wish you the best for your speaking as well as your business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yabeejan and team Talk Show for this putting up this wonderful knowledge share session through this platform. I'm glad to see Brigadier Sushil, who was with us in the camp
Yeah,
for the last 3 days, and he's there
that's
back
true.
again, and a very great inspiration for all of us. And Major Ali Shah is also, I saw in the in the
Yes.
right. So I'm thankful to our past president Nina John. So I thank each and every one of you for sparing your time to get some knowledge which I thought is useful to you. We will grow together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ram. All the best. Bye bye. So that was Ramaprasad Sreenivasan. I hope everyone had a great time, great learning about prospecting, about selling. So we'll meet next time, next month, Monday. So with this, I'm signing off. This is Yabeejan, the host for today's PSAI Talk Show. Bye bye.